To go for you here now, so let me hold both your hands.
Guys, if you like the content and you want to show me some support, Neverhome is my brand. It's my brainchild, my baby I've had for 8 years. I'm the most passionate person about making clothes for us to wear in the gym. If you get a chance, check out www.neverhome.com and show some love and support. This is one of my new tops coming out. That's Ronnie Coleman, designed as a monster on an oversized t-shirt. We've got our short shorts, we've got our caps, but the range is always expanding. And I want to say thanks if you've already made your purchase. Thank you very much. I love to see you support my brand.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Thank you for tuning in again. It's Scott Slaman here. And myself, John Gorman, also known as Johnny Starr. And this is episode 3 of, what we call our Sunday Night Lives. And so pretty much you put your questions in and we answer them. Well, Scott answers them and I just...
You answer a lot of very useful information.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Just want to preempt this. I've been sick all week and I've got a bit of a cough. But we're pushing through, so if there's a few moments where I need to have a bit of a cough, I apologise in advance. But we still wanted to get this done because we're committed to doing this. So let's get into the questions. We have some beautiful questions that have been put in, thanks to you guys. First one is this. Okay, Scott, what's your background and where are these crazy genetics from?
I think they're talking about the genetics. They're talking about you.
They're talking about you, Scotty.
No, my genetics are quite average. But my background, I'm American, so I was born in California. My dad is Lebanese, was Lebanese, and my mom is German. So I've got a little bit of a mix there. I can't speak anything but pretty much English. And, yeah, that's about it.
Love some Lebanese between the knees. You ever heard that saying? Johnny, heard that one? Today's going to be a lot of fun. Today's going to be fun.
Why not?
and German.
In your backgroround.
Yes, you can answer that one.
You're Australian. Your dad's Australian.
Dad's Aussie.
And your mom's Fijian Indian.
Correct.
And I know you've talked about how they met. They met. How did they meet again? You tell me that.
They were pen pals.
That's right.
It's like the original Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like Instagram DMs with pen pals.
How cool.
My dad's a pastor of a church. Dad went to Bible college. Mum's auntie flew to Australia to do that Bible college too. And then from what I know, my mum's auntie said, you should write to my niece. She's pretty cute, which is my mum.
Yeah.
And mum had a vision of coming to Australia as a little kid. It's a long story. But they wrote love letters. They wrote letters and then love letters and photos. And then dad flew over, married mum. And that's history.
That's awesome.
Been married for, I don't know, 35 years.
And thanks to that pen pal situation, you came along.
Yeah.
What are the chances?
Just the chances of being alive. And then I'm just like, wow, I've got to do something great. I think about that. It's pretty, how full on's that, right? You know, they didn't just meet at a club or a bar or fucking like
at a gym.
Pen pals from church. Like, what are the odds of that shit?
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's a special story. I love my parents. I just messaged them both actually. I messaged my dad, I love you, and my mum, I love you this morning. So do the same. All right, that's a genetic thing.
Good advice.
So the genetics are important, but you got to work with what you got.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Okay, this is question number 2 for the timestamps, because I do those. What are your thoughts on Zyzz? And how's your relationship with Chestbrah, Syed, which is a friend of mine. So maybe you can answer that one, Scott. So
Zyzz. When I first heard about Zyzz.
Zyzz, bro.
Zyzz.
Not Zyzz. It's Zyzz. No, it's Zyzz. Yeah.
So this is, when I was competing many years ago, we saw this, aesthetic crew come out. And, competitors, we thought it was a joke. We thought, what are these guys trying to do? Who do they think they are? Heroes, whatever. What are they about? And, it wasn't until later on that Johnny came along, and you were part of the aesthetic crew as well. And I look back and I realized that you don't have to get on stage to aspire to be great, to have a great physique and so on. In fact, most of my clients have that mentality. They want to be the best they can possibly be and live a very dedicated lifestyle, tracking all their food, their training, doing everything to the T, and looking incredible. Just because their goal isn't stepping on stage doesn't make it less important. And then I also look at the mentality of that night. I didn't really understand this until I saw some of the videos that Zyzz put out, and he was talking about what was it? We can all get through this, or we can all make it. We're going to make it.
We're going to make it.
And
yeah.
how that's positive. Like the messages that he put out there are absolute gold. So I've changed my opinion massively.
Love that.
It came from a place where I was like, yeah, that's not bodybuilding. That's not any good. But now it's like he was just trying to be encouraging, and this goes, and you were part of that crew, and I look at how you interact with people in the gym, and when you go up to somebody that maybe looks like they're a little uncomfortable in the gym, or it might be their first time, you go right up to them and give them words of encouragement. We were in there the other day, and there were some young guys training. There was a guy and his younger brother. It looked like they hadn't had much of experience.
Yeah.
We showed them some exercises and made them do them, and they were so grateful.
That was fun, yeah.
And every time we go to a place, you've got all these young guys coming up to, thanks for the tips, Johnny. And you really come from a good place. And I think, Zyzz came from a good place. And my perception on that, I was wrong. I will say that. and I'm glad I was wrong, because I think there was a lot of positivity and a lot of really good messages to that. Yeah.
So I actually wasn't part of the aesthetics crew. I was actually I was just from Melbourne doing my own thing, but I really looked up to what they were doing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I've seen you in pictures with Callum von Moger and some of those guys.
Yeah, but that was kind of like just through being in the scene and seeing a bit of we'd all. What would happen was we'd all get flown to expos. And we'd just meet up at these expos and we'd go train at night. That's where some of those photos would happen.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then you just kind of get to know each other through... It's a pretty small community.
Yeah.
There's only a few, in Australia, there's only a few, 10 or 20 guys that kind of really at that sort of influencer level.
At the end of the day, though, it's not about your level of influence. It's about, that culture was about trying to be the best version of yourself. And they would, have fun, show off at a festival. So be it. It's not a bodybuilding stage. Big deal. There's nothing wrong with you competed years ago, but you look at you every year improving. We're not seeing you on stage. Everybody says, why aren't you getting on stage? Why aren't you? But you don't actually have to have that as your reason. You can have whatever reason is your reason. Doesn't matter what it is. Be better. Get better.
What's your reason, Johnny? You training? Yeah, Johnny trains just because you want to train. You want to look good. That's it. That's it. I love Zyzz. So when I found out about this guy, I was like, fuck, what a legend. Just his ethos, his mindset. I was so influenced. I'm like, fuck, this guy's just the sickest cunt ever. He's the coolest. I watch his videos. I'm like, man, just the aura he had. I was so influenced by that. And his physique. I don't know if we can put this up at a later reel. Bro, he's ahead of his time. Back then his physique was still to this day, so aesthetic. It's such a beautiful physique. One of the best physiques of all time. 'Cause back then there was no info on, what to do, and he was ahead of his time, but.
And it was somewhat achievable too as well. That's the other thing. It wasn't one of these genetic elites that you see on the Olympia stage. It was realistic.
It was. I remember going, fuck, I want to look like this guy. But touching on this too, so Az was great, but my relationship with Chesty,
his brother,
which is his brother, Chesty, I hope you watch this, bro. We just kind of got to know each other through the scene. Chesty stayed at my house a few times. We went to Vegas together. We did EDC Las Vegas. Do you remember that, Chesty? That was fun. So we had a lot of good times. We still speak now and then. But what I like about Chesty was, Chesty changed the world. I'll tell you why. Because he got his brother into training. So he's a catalyst of that. But the influence those guys had such an impact. That's why a lot of these big brands are Gymshark would Photoshop as wearing their clothes. Do you know what I mean? There was the influence they had.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's massive. The whole industry is because of these two. Like, and the social media thing, like they started that, the YouTube getting out there, like they inspired so many guys. So they really changed the whole, there's an edge of the world that these guys changed, and there was really Chesty starting that, you know. So Chesty, he's a legend, and yeah, we're still very good friends. So I'll probably see him at Johnny's. One of my mates is having a wedding soon at Johnny's wedding, so I think that's in June. So yeah, massive respect. They're the greatest. They're cool. They're the best. Okay, here's one for me. Oh, by the way, Chesty too. He was on a Fresh and Fit podcast in America.
Yeah.
And I actually helped a lot of people start brands.
Yeah.
And I helped Chesty as well.
Yeah.
He was nice enough to acknowledge that I told him to start that, and I helped him quite a bit with that, with what he's doing now. He's killing it.
Awesome.
But he acknowledged that, which is nice. It's nice to get acknowledgement. Not that I'm looking for it, but when someone does that, it's special. A lot of people sent me that clip.
Yeah.
And he said it was Johnny Starr, you know, like it was
awesome.
it was special. So thanks for that, Chesty. I'm giving you some acknowledgement back for acknowledging me. Did you want to say something?
No, I love it. The attitude that you guys have uplifting each other, you know, you don't necessarily see that, you know, like I was saying with you in the gym, you don't see that sometimes with the hardcore bodybuilders. You do with some. I'm not going to say a general rule, but, you know, some people it's just, I'm dieting for a show and blah, 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 whatever it might be, and very about themselves. But I see a lot of positive, you know, YouTube, bro, you know, like that culture, you know,
it's the best.
of just trying to uplift each other. Like, that to me is, you know, like I was so into the bodybuilding competition side of things, and I still love it, but seeing the encouragement on that side of things is really, really cool.
Well, when we help those, like, there's sometimes we'll just go stop and take someone through. You just take someone through a couple of sets, like mid-workout. And remember those two kids, right? And his brother just started training, and we took him through pendulum squats.
Oh, yes.
And you fucking made him, bro, we trained so hard. And then we saw him a couple of weeks later, and I'm like, hey, how's your legs? And like, bro, they loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're the guys there training, you know, probably at more elite level, but we made time for these younger guys that had just started.
Yeah.
I know it makes their days, because when I was training as a little kid, I went up to a few of the bigger guys. They call me a poof. They're like, "Are you gay?" I'm like, "Fuck off." That's so wrong. You know, we're here to help.
Didn't make you feel good.
I still remember it.
Yeah.
So this is 17 years later. I remember the guy, where I was, and how he made me feel.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll never make someone feel that way. It's
and
not right.
You go above and beyond to go the opposite, the complete opposite. I sometimes just go in and, you know, my headphones are on, or if I'm by myself or whatever, and we just go in to work out. But you actually take the time to go out of your way to make people feel good and give them genuine compliments and uplift them to keep them going, keep them motivated. And,
for sure.
And that culture is absolutely amazing. And I've actually tried to start doing it a little bit more myself.
Yeah, you give someone a compliment. Fuck, it makes their day.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnny.
How hard is that? How hard is that?
It's good. Yeah, it's nice. 'Cause when someone gives me a compliment, I remember that. It gets me in a good mood. I'm like, oh, fuck, he actually noticed, you know.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. All right. Someone said, plans for Neverhome and the brand moving forward. Great question. Well, at 10 o'clock this morning, I met with a company called, I'll give them a plug. I kind of got to go with them. Blank Theory. So I was looking up all these marketing companies to, like, this is marketing for Neverhome now, right now too, because putting out content, and it's just the law of reciprocation. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure it out, you know, like right now. Like I want to blow this up. So the plan is make it huge, as big as possible. I'm thinking Nike. I've got to aim for that. And if I don't get there, at least it's going to be something good.
Exactly.
I may as well.
And it's your personal spin on this. You don't copy anybody. Like, this is not, you know, you're not trying to be, you know, badass better than anybody else or like that. You put your personality and your spin and put a lot of attention to detail in everything you do.
Yeah.
And I think people appreciate it. And
it's the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the way, once they find out about it and they understand the meaning of Neverhome, then they get into the culture of it, they kind of adapt to, like, okay, I get what this guy's trying to do. So I'm trying to get that message out there.
The slogan, inspire the uninspired.
Exactly. It's the whole ethos of who I am. That's why I do this, and I want to get training with you, because I love it. It fucking makes me happy. It's a good purpose in not to die and be like, fuck, this guy loved training and made something out of it. So I met with a marketing company, Blank Theory, this morning. Julian was great. He actually did a full proposal for me. And he's saying, okay, the next steps with what your brand is, we
is actually getting it. I've never paid for ads. I paid for this. I haven't paid for advertising for the brand. It's like starting to pay for some ads now through. I should have done this years ago, but I never really got my head around it. Like, as stupid I am. But now I'm doing that. So, and that's why I work so hard in the real estate to inject funds back into this. And that goes back to why I drive the Camry. Because if I had a nice car when I used to when I was younger, I like that. That's money I need to put back into the business. So I'm sacrificing, and plus I like the Camry. It's reliable.
Yeah.
It's very humble too. When I rock up to work at auctions, they're like, "Oh, you drive a normal car?" I'm like, "Well, it does the job. You know, it's reliable."
Yeah.
And I don't need to have the nice car to make me feel good anymore.
You've got inner confidence.
Man,
you know
my
what I mean?
body is the car. Like, look at this thing. I'm
There
a
you go.
freak, you know. Yeah. This is the car. So anyway, that's what I'm doing with Neverhome. I'm working on that. So if you're here to support me, check out the website. Okay, next question. It's just a long answer. I may as well plug it. Here's one for you. What's the best cycle you've ever done?
Well, hypothetically speaking, I guess the least amount that you could possibly take at the end of the day and still get results. Because there's less toxicity on your body. You can always take more later on. But just go back to the very basics, the very least. I'm not going to go into, different compounds and amounts or anything like that, but scale it right back.
But, with TRT, it's like replacement. Why would you take TRT if it's replacing what?
So,
do you know what I mean?
Right. So, I actually am prescribed TRT. And that's going to put you in physiological range. And that's going to replace what Is that if you're not at that? Yeah.
Okay.
TRT would be if you aren't producing those levels. Now, chances are, if you've been bodybuilding for a while or you've been off and on, sometimes your levels don't come back up to normal range. And sometimes you're stuck. So, guys, be careful. If you're starting out, taking something, you may not want to have to take this the rest of your life, but you may be in a position to where you have to go back on TRT just to be normal.
Yeah.
So be careful with there. And then if you can put yourself just slightly above that safely, well, it's not going to be 100% safe, but the least amount you can do and still get results, you're going to be much better off in the long run.
It's more sustainable, I guess.
100%. Yeah.
If you take too much, you're going to feel like crap, aren't you?
Potentially.
And you get your gyno. I had the gyno cut out.
Yeah.
You know insecure I was about the gyno? Fuck,
did
you have yours cut out too?
No, I never had issues.
Wow.
Genetic disposition. I mean, some people...
I had it as a kid. I remember having little lumps. Did you have gyno, John? Did you ever have gyno? You know when you have like little bitch tits? Yes, and everyone gets a cut out now. It's norm. Yeah. But when I got mine cut out, I was a bit embarrassed.
But now people become a little bit smarter, hopefully, and not taking as much where they actually need to look at that. So if you can bring levels up just a little bit, so you're not aromatizing massive amounts, and also timing and things like that. But I don't want to go into
So best cycle is the one you can take the least amount on, still get results, and do it over more.
And then just get your blood work done. Check over everything on a regular basis to make sure you can sustain it. And then you can always come back to that TRT physiological range, and stay on that and not impact your health markers too much at all.
Okay. I'll leave that at that. I won't say any more. Okay, here's one. Drop the ab routine.
Oh, the ab routine. All right. Look, for me personally, I just do some hanging leg raises.
You do it every couple of days before our workouts.
Yeah.
He'll get there early, and I'm usually early. He's freaking doing pretty intense hanging leg raises, a couple sets. He's like, all right, we'll go start. I'm like, fuck, didn't I tie you out?
And I also like it because it opens up the shoulder joint a little bit too as well. So it's not a bad option there. So
I noticed you use the Versa groups as well.
Yeah. But as far as abs are concerned,
body fat really will.
It's really going to be boiled down to how lean you are.
Everyone's got abs.
Everyone's got abs. You get lean enough,
you have to have abs, right? Yeah,
most definitely.
Yeah.
However, if you want more prominent abs, if you want the abs thicker,
that's what I want.
Yeah, then train them like any other muscle group. Progressive overload. Try to you could got a lot of different variations of crunch machines, weighted cable crunches, things like that, hanging leg raises, and really think about your abs involvement. It's basically bring your torso down to towards your pelvis, or your pelvis up towards your torso, and within the hanging leg raises. It's not really such thing as upper or lower. Yeah, so you're basically just
squeezing it together,
crunching either legs up or torso down. And you're contracting,
bit of an angle.
Contracting your abs. I'm not a big fan of working the external obliques because I don't want to thicken the waist wider. So
you could just deadlift if you want a thick waist, right?
What I wouldn't do is like hold a heavy dumbbell in one side
or deadlift
and do side bends, because you're going to build a thicker waist by working the external oblique. Any amount of fat over the top of that is going to make your waist look wider. I mean, it might look cool if you're super, super lean, but chances of you staying in that single-digit body fat percentage for life isn't going to be great.
So my ab routine is I train abs like every second morning because I do cardio pretty much every morning and I throw in abs. I just do whatever, bit of random things here and there. But usually, I used to do hanging leg raises, but I was just using my hip flexors like fucking stupid.
Well, there's nothing wrong with doing some.
Well, you want
working the iliopsoas.
You want to work that, but we're trying to hit the abs.
You're not going to be most effective by bringing your pelvis up. So most people just, bring their knees up when they're doing a hanging leg raises. But if you actually start with your knees up a little bit and you rock your pelvis up,
yes,
it becomes 10 times harder for one thing, but you're actually getting much better ab contraction.
I do a lot of pikes and TRX, ball stuff. Just sitting there and crunching properly and squeezing. But it's funny, I see it. It's not funny, I shouldn't say this. A lot of people aren't training abs properly in the gym. They are doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of hips.
Yeah.
But the ab routine, just get in there, and I think it helps with overall functionality.
Absolutely.
And because my lower abs have never been super chiseled, I thought I need to grow them.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been focusing on.
If your abs grow and you get real lean, they're going to stand out more. Yes.
Yes, I've always liked.
But they're not. You train abs, they're not going to make you. If you've got fat over the top of them, they ain't going to.
Doesn't matter, does it?
No.
Question number 6. How long do you rest for between sets? And is there different timing for different body parts or body groups?
Yes. Yes, there would be. So we don't use a watch to time anything like that. You basically go when you're completely ready. Now, that might take, depending on the movement. So if you're doing a hard set of, let's say, leg presses or hack squats, you might rest a minute. Well, no, more than a minute. You might rest 3 minutes, maybe even up to 5 minutes between a set, where your breathing comes back to normal. You can push as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Even if you rest a long period of time, I'll get another little off-topic point. Let's say, I'll give you an arbitrary number. Let's say you did 100 kilos for 10 reps, right? And it was close to failure. It was a working set. You went as hard as you possibly could.
For bicep curls?
Yes. And you did your next set after that. Even if you rested for a while, you shouldn't be able to get 10 reps again. Because there would have been a bit of fatigue there. So keep in mind, every working set needs to be challenging the muscle as close to failure as you possibly can. The other thing is, on a smaller muscle group, you might need less than a minute because it's not going to take as much out of you. The other thing I like to rest on, even is between opposing arms. So if you're doing a unilateral movement, like a single arm movement,
have some rest,
and you go to do the other side, rest a little bit in between. Because not only the other side musculature isn't going to be fatigued, but your nervous system might need a little bit of a break before you go again. So if we're training together, sometimes I might do one side, then you do that side, then I do the other, then you do the other, to give yourself a break between arms or sides for that matter.
So have enough to give your next set everything you got.
Yeah, because our volume isn't great. We're not doing 30, 40 sets in a workout.
Yeah.
We're doing half that. So we got to make sure that every set we're doing, you give everything you can to.
Very good answer. Thank you. Do you do mobility work?
Well, this could be opposing answers here. Like for Johnny, well, I'll answer my question. You can answer yours. Me, and this isn't an excuse, but I simply have to allocate my time. So I could train less and do more mobility work. But the way I look at it is I actually make sure that my training involves working the muscle through a full range of motion and even doing some loaded stretches to allow for kind of kill two birds with one stone. So like, for example, let's say I'm doing dumbbell flies. At the end of the fly, I might hold that stretch for a little bit longer, nice deep stretch, open up the muscle, things like that, or RDLs, making sure that even deficit RDLs or straight-legged deadlifts to getting a stretch happening there. So we're still working the muscle. If you work every joint through its full range of motion and it's actually loaded, you think about it, that's like loaded stretching. And that's going to be more effective than even static stretching. So I don't feel like I need to do the additional mobility work because of that. Although, if I had the time, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Good answer. Yeah, so you're kind of doing it while you're training with good range of motion.
And you?
So like I put a few mobility stuff up. That's probably why someone asked this question. Because I've been doing posing with Johnny Barlis. Johnny, hope you watch this. Scotty referred me to Johnny. But I just love, I just enjoy it. I just love doing it every Sunday.
He's got a great passion for what he does.
Fuck, Johnny's he's so good, bro. And his knowledge is next level. But Johnny said to me, like, I'd be doing this twisting Arnie pose. And, man, I wasn't mobile.
Yeah.
And he goes, you need to get in the gym, get one of those sticks, start moving around and stretching around and doing that as much as you can to open yourself up and stretch the fascia and things. And he goes, you need to do that if you want to become a really good poser. So Johnny says something like, you and Johnny, I listen to you guys. I do it.
And that's the other point, is you mentioned getting in there and moving. Now, if you're sitting for a long time because of your job or you're driving or whatnot, I drove here, was sitting, and I get up and my back is stiff, everything's stiff.
Body tightens up, right?
Yeah, it tightens up. So, the combination of, I try to go for a few little walks and whatnot as well. So if you can get moving, get walking, get moving, combination with that and working the muscle through full range of motion or some specific mobility work, you'll be much better off.
So I'll do I might get up, do some cardio, do some abs, and then my mobility work will only be 6 minutes, if that. I just jump in the corner, get on a mat, and I just have a little routine. I watch some YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Lean Beef Patty, I think her name is. She's a YouTuber, this chick. I got a lot of stuff from her. She's really, I think she's an ex-gymnast. Super mobile, and I was just
well, why are you watching that?
Yeah, no, because I'm like looking up mobility routines,
yeah, gotcha,
and this chick's like, I was copying her,
Yeah.
just not attractive.
Okay,
so it's just like she's got a good body, but sorry, babe, it's not like he's a supermodel. I'm not whacking off in the gym, like.
Oh, we dig ourselves a hole there.
Nah, I didn't say anything wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. When bulking for muscle mass, what matters more, calories or protein intake?
So I would say quality of food. Okay. So let's say somebody's bulking on, let's say you're bulking on 5,000 calories. What are you going to look better on? Donuts and pizza or decent quality foods? Now, protein does matter. You want to get enough high quality protein. You need protein for building muscle, no question about it. What's that?
I'm just thinking of fucking mobility shit.
Okay.
Everyone's looking up lean beef patty. So what donuts or
Okay. It's all right.
So what matters more?
Donuts matter more. That's all that matters. Donuts.
But if you're going to eat donuts and eat 4,000 calories, you're going to look like shit.
You're going to look like a donut, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but does protein matter? Yes. We want to keep our, we're always in a state of either muscle protein breakdown or muscle protein synthesis.
Yeah.
So we want to steer that more towards the synthesis, and the rest of the calories, we need to have plenty of carbs for replenishing glycogen and recovery as well. When you have a decent amount of carbs in there, carbs are very muscle sparing. You don't need as much protein, and then fats on a moderate level, depending on your total calories and your metabolism.
So quality of food and protein's vital.
Okay, guys, quick break from the episode. Hope you're enjoying it. But I just wanted to talk to you about my brand, Neverhome. If you didn't know, I've had this brand for 8 years. It's my love child. It's my baby. And I make clothes for you guys to enjoy in the gym. I'm passionate about it. So this is my new oversized shirt that's probably going to drop really soon. Got the short shorts, but I'm always evolving the brand. So if you want to support me, feel free. Just check out neverhome.com. And let's get back to the episode.
Next question. This is a really good question, actually. Is 2 meals of 1,500 calories a day okay if my goal is 3,000 calories for a bulk?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so look, that could be looked at. I'm not sure if that was almost like an intermittent fasting type situation. So it's a majority of food in a couple of meals. Now, I tried that once just because I try everything. So I tried to do a majority of calories in a couple of meals. Now, I find for me personally, my digestion didn't handle that very well. So trying to absorb and utilizing all that food in one hit just didn't sit well with my stomach. It ended up with digestive issues. just for that period of time. Now, we also look, as I mentioned before, about the protein synthesis. We want to make sure you're spacing protein out throughout the day. Your body does a great job of holding on to carbs in the form of glycogen in the muscles and liver, holds on to fat quite easily as well. But your protein, your body doesn't do a great job of holding on to. You need it. But so I make sure that you're prioritizing protein with every meal, and we're staying in that positive nitrogen balance. So, and then you also got to think about how much protein can you actually. It's not so much how much can you absorb in one hit. How much can you properly digest, assimilate, and utilize? Is going to be too hard on your digestion as well. So that's kind of how I look at things. And I guess it's going to depend on the individual. What feels best for them? Does it feel better to have? And I've got some clients that eat 6 or 7 times a day, and I have some that eat 3 or 4 times a day, and everything in between. So I'd say the average would be probably about 5 times a day. And I'm not saying that for everyone needs to eat 5 times a day. Depending on your calories, the way you're at right now, and what feels best on digestion, energy, nutrient timing, and all that, that's where we can make sure that it works best for you. But extremes, like 1 or 2 meals or 8 meals. Think about extremes. Either scenario on both ends of that probably aren't going to be conducive. Because you need enough time between meals as well. Because if you're eating every, let's say, hour and a half, you might not have had a chance to get your digestive enzymes and everything ready to go to utilize more food again.
Okay.
So you want to actually have enough time between meals too.
That's a really good point.
So not too long and not too short.
Do you ever train traps? If so, would love to see a video on it.
Okay, I'll answer that. I do train traps when I'm not with you.
Yep.
and that's simply because it's something that I need to work on. I need to work on, and I do the variety of things like Kelso shrugs, where retracting shoulders and whatnot. And they do get worked in directly with lateral raises and everything like that, even when you're doing RDLs and whatnot. But Johnny specifically, traps are quite developed. Now, we want to work for Johnny, we want to work more on his deltoids, right? So we want nice round shoulders. And if he really focused on traps, his traps would go up to his ears, and it would give that appearance of smaller shoulders, right? So we don't focus so much on direct trap work. We're focusing more on growing the delts to have that real balanced aesthetic physique. So it depends on the person.
Just touching on that too. This is cool because when I reached out to you to help me out with the goals of the physique, you looked at my body and you said, "You look all right. This is what we need to work on." And it was nice because he looked at it and go, "Okay, Johnny, I know you think you look good, but you can look better." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You need to do this. All right, we're taking away some chest training. The chest is too dominant. We've got to put some emphasis on the shoulders and the arms, and we'll work on, the back needs work too, and we'll start working on the hamstrings more, take a little bit less from the quads." So we restructured, this is just off topic, but we structured my split. Because if you get the split right over a long time and you're working on your weak points, you balance out and you start to look really good. So I look back over, I'm fucking starting to look better and better and better because it's all evening out.
Absolutely.
Arms are coming up, back's coming, hammies are, I got fucking hammies now, right?
Yeah.
Never had them.
Yeah.
So that's what I just wanted to say thanks for that, because you, like, with traps, he goes, "No point doing traps, your traps are huge. Fuck, don't waste that energy on traps. We can put it on your arms."
Exactly.
You know?
So you think about, exactly to the point, you think about what can you recover from in a week.
You can't just smash.
You can't do everything you normally do. I need to bring up my arms right and do everything you'd normally do and add additional arm work. Your whole recovery systems would go to shit.
And generally people do their good body parts more because they enjoy it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they just keep getting bigger, whatever
More
it is, like me,
imbalanced.
chest.
Yeah.
I fucking smash chest because I love it.
Yeah.
Just keep getting too out of shape with the rest of my body.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm so confident now that when I do compete, I'm going to do very well, because like I'm working. We got a structure in place. Like, we're doing every workout. I train my fucking ass off. I'm with you. You're pushing me, progressively getting better. I eat perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm in this great positive mindset too. So my body's always like, I'm not stressed. There's no high cortisol levels. So I'm growing.
Yeah.
Blood work's done. Like, it's fucking... I don't know if I could be more optimal.
Your physique's becoming more balanced all the time.
Yeah.
Like if you look at over the course of months or years or whatnot, it's becoming more balanced, and then slowly growing into that balance. So it's a good thing.
Because I enjoy it. I'm dedicated. I'm consistent. Plus I got you. Like, I can't go fucking wrong. That's why I think I'm going to be the best.
Absolutely.
Like, who the fuck is going to do this at my level so well? Like, all these pros, but that's why I've only done this for like 2 years pretty well now.
Yeah.
Imagine 5 or 10 years. Like, fuck. There's going to be a point where it's like, all right, how much better can this guy get within my weight cap?
Yeah. Because, there might be people.
Does that make sense, Johnny?
Yeah.
Like, it's logical, right? Unless I'm fucking stupid.
No, there might be people
it
out
makes
there
sense, right?
with better genetics.
Yeah.
But
True.
I don't know anyone. You've got better than average genetics, no question about that. But I don't know anyone that's willing to tick all the boxes like you. Some people eat really well, but their training is just half-assed. Some people train really hard, but they don't eat well.
Yeah.
Some people, like whatever it is, you tick all the boxes, and you're healthy. So you've got longevity in the game too as well. You can do this for longer periods of time. You're not going to burn out. So yeah, keep ticking these boxes.
And I watched this video too the other day. They said they looked at some tennis players, and there was like, top 5 tennis players, and they gave him a scale of ability from 1 to 10, and passion of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And the ones that had most of them ability, but the ones that had the passion means they enjoyed it, and the ones with passion were the best tennis players in the world. It was some chick, I can't remember her name, but I love it, bro. Like, I fucking love this shit.
What's the saying?
I love it. Like, it's so fun.
What's the saying?
Can't go wrong. Like, it's not a chore.
The man that enjoys the walk will go farther than the man that enjoys the destination.
Yes, yeah. The journey's
I don't know if I'm saying that properly.
I know what you're trying to say. Does that make sense, Johnny? I love this shit. Every day I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Woke up this morning, 4 o'clock. I'm like, I'm alive. Fuck yeah, this is great. First, I'm alive. Secondly, I'm in shape already, which is good. So I like going to the gym because I feel good.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold up a sec. I got a big day today. I got to go train now. But I was excited. Excited. I'm like, people are saying, oh, I got to the gym at 5 o'clock. Big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you should be doing. Do you know what I mean? But I really enjoy it. So if you can switch your mindset to enjoying it and loving the leg sessions, can't fucking wait for them. Oh, your life changes. It's in the mind.
Somebody said to me the other day, I took him through a couple sets of leg press, and he's like, oh, I wish I could. I need somebody. I need to find a training partner that can push me through that. I said, no, everyone's got it within them.
Yeah.
You all have it.
Yeah, you do.
You got to find it though. You got to find, make that train. I told him this. I said, make the training the hardest part of your day. So everything else is easy.
No, I look forward to those when we're doing, especially legs for some reason. But when we're doing legs, I can't wait to get to the point of pain.
Yeah.
And then I say, all right, how fucked up am I to endure this for as long as possible? I'll just keep going that bit extra. I'll just suffer and suffer. And I know that's going to get me the results. So I just keep pushing as long as possible. And then what happens is my body will just fail. Yeah. It's not because I actually just can't move anymore. I'm done.
I see that.
And then I'm like, all right, that was good. But then something happens after the leg workout. I feel so good. Yeah, it's like I've done a lot of coke.
There's a lot of people in this realm that have this mentality. Once you get this, you get hooked.
That's my new addiction. The hard training.
Yeah,
you really do feel good. But you gotta have those rest days.
Yeah, you gotta recover from it. And some people hate those rest days. But I'll tell you, if you train hard enough,
you need them.
You will appreciate the rest days. You'll be like, body feels beat up.
Yeah. Then when you go back after a rest day, you have so much of a better workout, I realised.
Yeah.
I've just ranted. Is that too? Sorry about that. I'll get fucking passionate. Okay. All right.
It's all right.
But that's good. You structure people's training splits to what their needs are.
Absolutely.
So that's why someone says, can I copy your split? It's like, well, I'm a bit different. I need to
Yeah.
get more arms and delts. You know, do you want to just do Hammy's arms and delts focus?
Yeah.
split,
So what
you
I
know?
look at is, if somebody's competing, I might look at their physique and say, this is what you need to bring up, right? But I have a lot of clients that, they might not want to step on stage. I don't care what you want to bring up, right? It's your body. Enjoy. Like, if you're out of balance.
But can you give them advice and say this is what I would do, or do you let them?
You wanted to get on. You talked about getting on stage potentially, right? And that's why I gave you the facts. You know what I mean? This is what we should bring up. But there's other people that I just ask them. I don't care, right? What do you want to bring up? Like I give you the facts of how to be more balanced, right? But let's say you didn't want to get on stage.
What if you just want to have? You don't care about legs.
Exactly. Or well, let's say your chest is already very well developed. Let's say I said, what do you want to do? I want a bigger chest. Already very big, right? Okay.
Do it.
Why not?
It's your body.
It's your body. Exactly right. You only have one life.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody tell you what how you should.
I see girls just do glutes every fucking session. That's mad.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. So if you are getting on stage and you're in front of a panel of judges, there are certain criteria that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And I can help with that. But as far if you're not getting in front of judges, you look how you want to look, and I can help with that split.
It's funny because my mate said I can't go to Scott because I'm not competing. I'm like, bro, most of his clients don't compete.
That's right.
Like
A lot of them look like they should.
Yeah.
But that's just because
They just want to look good.
They just want to look good.
All right. Next question. If you had to have a cheat meal, what would you have?
Don't make me. No. Look.
Yeah, it has to be like, let's talk cheat meal, not a steak and potato cheat meal.
See, for me that is as good as I can get because I feel good on that too as well.
Let's talk something that's going to be a bit dirty.
Well, I'll tell you what. I did have a steak and potato at a restaurant not too long ago, but they said, "Do you want any dessert?" And I thought, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? So I had some sticky date pudding, right?
Yeah.
And I think I had some other people got some desserts, and I had some of my wife and some of her parents. I had a lot of dessert, and I didn't feel so good afterwards. My stomach was, and I didn't regret it for the fact of the taste, because I committed to it. I was like, yep, I'm going to have this. But I didn't feel so good afterwards. But, yeah.
Mine would just be, I love burgers. There's a place called Burgatory. Shout out to Burgatory.
Yeah.
They follow me on Instagram.
I actually had one of their burgers.
Their burgers are fucking
a few days
sick.
ago, right?
Yeah, you've been there, John? Burgatory. Look up Burgatory. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
They got this burger. It's like a chicken one.
Yeah.
A fried chicken
burger.
burger.
They're all fried, though. All the chicken burgers are fried.
It's got like a coleslaw. I love that chicken burger. I forgot what it's called. Might be the Abraham, I think.
Yeah, okay.
That burger, oh my God, it's so fucking good. I would go to Burgatory. If I had to have a cheap meal, I'm going to go there after this podcast, actually. We're going. But I'd have a few burgers.
Yeah.
And I love cookies and cream ice cream. Oh, something about cookies and cream ice cream. I love it. But I have not had a cheap meal for a couple of years, man.
Yeah.
I have no desire for it. This is if I had to. But my diet's so nice.
And you might have a little bite of this, and that's what I do too. I might have a bite of chocolate or a couple of chips, my kids have or whatever it might be. I can do that. I can have a taste of, that tastes good, right? Enjoyed that. Had a little, I had a pancake, whatever.
My brother's, go on.
No, that's all right.
My brother's birthday was last week.
Yeah.
Mrs. bought a Mars bar cake from Vanilla. I didn't have a slice, but I didn't want it, and I just wanted to stay disciplined.
Yeah.
Do
you find, can you have a bite of something and put it down? Can you have a...
Yeah, I can,
See,
absolutely.
some people have a real hard time doing that.
I can have a bite. I just nibble them like that's enough.
Yeah.
No issue at all, yeah.
Yeah, some people can't do that. So, and it depends on the person.
Yeah.
If you can have a bite of something and put it down, great. If you're one of those people that you can't touch anything, or you'll have to have a massive slice in seconds and so on, and then it's going to put you in a spin where you're going to go to the fridge and look, and go out on
Can you have a bite of something, Johnny, and then stop? You have to keep going? Fuck.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
You're
out
so
there.
fit, though. It looks like you
There's a lot of people out there like that.
Really,
they can't. So in those cases, and this is where, where they're...
They can't stop eating?
No. And especially in competition, when you're on low food and somebody goes, okay, I'll just have, a little this or a little that. Once they get that taste for it, the brain will just, especially something high fat and high sugar at the same time.
It's a drug.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Interesting.
So just know your limits. Know what, like you don't put,
That's
You
hard.
don't put alcohol in front of an addict, or you don't put a bag of Coke in front of you. I'm just joking.
Well, man, when I was doing coke, I couldn't stop.
Yeah,
Same thing as food.
so
right?
you don't put yourself
it's
you
the
don't put
same
yourself
thing,
in
yeah.
situations. You know, I know
Yeah.
now you're more disciplined and you can be around it, but
Well, now I've been around it. It's everywhere, and you know how hard that used to be for me. There's a rack on the table, and I'll be like, "Fuck this, let's go," you know.
Yeah.
But now I've been in the room, and I'm like, "No, I don't do it anymore."
yeah, you've got
I've moved
a
on,
great
yeah.
mindset. But if
Yeah.
you're like that with food, then don't be around it if you can help it.
I guess it's like once you have that first line,
Yeah,
you're pretty much fucked, right, John? But it might be the same thing. You have the first bite, same thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
I get it.
understand. You
Yeah,
get
you're
it.
like, you don't stop eating
Yeah.
till that cheesecake's gone or that bag's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Here's like a work-related one. I've got a new role with the client appointments that are back-to-back. What do you find is the best way to structure your day? So back-to-back appointments, how would you structure that, or what do you do for your day maybe?
Maybe I'll have you answer that one because
Yeah, so
I've got the ability to structure it however.
it's a good question. So I'm, my days at the moment is I'm not gonna, like, everyone's busy, so I hate it when people talk about how busy they are, what they're doing. It's like, fuck, everyone's got fucking shit to do. Shut the fuck up, seriously. So I don't have kids, so I'm lucky. I can do it. I structure my life around me, and I'm gonna make the most of it now because I want to have kids, and I know that's gonna take a bit of my time up.
Yeah.
I think I'm busy now. Wait till I got kids.
Oh yeah.
Let's get serious here. So I understand. But my days, I'm a real estate agent, and then I train maybe once or twice a day, and then I just pretty much eat food and do appointments and things and call auctions. But I'll have appointments during the day, and then like today, right, I looked at my diet. I had the 10 o'clock meeting for the marketing, and then I had the 2 o'clock. All I had was the 10 o'clock and the 2 o'clock here with you. I need to fit a workout in, and I need to get my meals in around that too. And I've got to take photos of a development on the way home from this in Brighton East. So I brought my camera. And I'm going to send them to Jamaica to edit, and then we're going to put them on realestate.com because I wanted to show the developments at frame stage because buyers will see that and be like, okay, it's actually getting built. So in a nutshell, look at my calendar, structure my day around it, and then I will make sure I'll look at the fridge and go, okay, how many more meals do I have? I've got 8 meals left. Okay, it's going to get me through 2.5 days. And then a day before that, I'll go buy the food, keep it in the fridge, and then when I'm 2 meals out, I'll prep the next 12 meals. Yeah. So I've always got food. That's just through trial and error.
Yeah.
Because I can't sit at home and fucking make meals. I need to have food all the time. I've got a meal in the car, like ready to go there. I'm going to microwave it here and then eat that while I take the photo shoot because I want to keep the food going. So I'm organised. But I look at the day and structure. I'll fit it around it. Or with you,
if you've got a showing that
inspection
afterwards, or you'll say, can we train it? At
1 p.m., 3 p.m.
because I've got an inspection shortly after, and you time it to where you're in the area. It's just about maximizing your time. And sometimes that if I got to make some phone calls, I'll try to time it where I'm in the car driving. It's just about becoming as efficient as you possibly can.
So he's asked about structuring this day.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you keep putting the important things in. Because if I'm not training or eating, what's the point of being alive? That's what I think. There's no fucking point. I'm going to be a fat fuck, miserable, and then I'm going to get sick. It's just, what the fuck's the point? You have to make time and structure it. So tomorrow I've got opens and auctions.
Yeah.
I don't have meals around it, and then I do my market wrap every week.
Yeah.
I think ahead of the suits and the shirts and everything. It's all organised.
And the other thing I would say is, do the hard stuff first.
Yeah, the hard client calls.
Get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Do it first, because if you keep putting those off, they'll just keep getting put off. So
I'll never eat my last meals unless the kitchen, all the dishes are clean. I've had a shower. I won't eat before I've had the shower because, after you eat, you get a bit tired.
Yeah.
And you never do the dishes in the kitchen. Like, house is spotless. All my clothes are put away. Then I eat because I have to eat.
Yes.
And then I'll go to bed.
That's
and take some growth hormone. Which is food. Food is growth hormone, right?
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, you got to get disciplined. That's a pretty straightforward one. Hey brother, I want you to answer this to everyone out there. What's your why? Much love. You want to go first? I think I know your answer.
Well, mine's my
your
family.
yeah.
And I think I want to be I think about my kids and I think about my boys and two things: what I can provide for them, and if they were, I want them to be able to I want to be able to inspire them to work hard, to be driven, whatever they want. And I don't care if they train. I really don't. But I want to show them that.
Your kids came over, they freaking showed me their abs. Remember? Kids are jacked.
But
was that Zach or
Chase?
Chase?
Yeah, he does gymnastics and stuff.
That looks good. It's better than me.
8-pack. Yeah. But no, they're just active. They just run around. They keep me fit. But I also want to be in shape to be able to run around with them, because my youngest, he wants me to play tag with him, and I can't keep up with him anymore. I mean,
those kids
he's so fast. I can't keep up. And the other thing also with the training side of things, at my age, every session is a blessing. Because how many more sessions am I going to get in? How many do I have left in me? I'm going to train until I literally can't move. but I just value every session I can get in, push hard and not get injured is a freaking win.
You took this kid's indoor skydiving. That was nice the other day.
Yeah, that
was awesome. And I saw you at the beach, and you're like grateful. Like, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's nice. What do the other parents say when they see you when you drop the kids off at school? Like, this guy's fucking massive. Because you'd be the most jacked dad at the school, right? Come on.
Probably.
I want to be like that.
I'm not really.
All my kids would be like, have you seen freaking Thingo's dad, Johnny? He's fucking jacked. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I don't really socialize too much. I just get in and get out.
I understand that to a degree. My why is because, we spoke about it before. I just think, statistically, like, what are the fucking odds of me being alive at my parents' meeting, and then just being alive in general? And then I've made so many mistakes in my life and hang around the wrong people, done the drugs, been to the psych ward, lost all my money, just fucking been suicidal. I've hit rock bottom, and I'll probably hit rock bottom again. It might happen again. Who knows? Like, who fucking knows, right? Shit's going to happen. But I just want to make the most of my life now. Because you have to.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking have to as a man. You got to make the most of it.
There's got to be things that happen in your life that are very impactful. And if we can have, these, I really am grateful for the days that are strung together that nothing major bad happens. Especially when you have a family, you just like your family's health and their safety is like, if your kids get sick, man, like it's painful as a dad to watch your kid in pain or anything like that. You'll see, you'll experience.
I can't wait to be a dad.
Yeah.
I feel like you're my dad sometimes. And just off topic, I did an inspection at that lady's property yesterday. This lady comes through 2 houses up. She's got a face mask on. She's in her 60s. Goes, oh, hey, how you doing? I'll just have a look at the house. My house is the same floor plan. Okay, hey, how you going? What's happening with you? She goes, oh, my husband recently died. So did my sister. I found out I've got leukemia. I've got about 8 months to live. And she goes, but I'm going to sell the house. I'm going to move to Ballarat. Live with my son. He's 40s, caring for me. But I'm just happy to take each day. She's doing chemo, right? I'm thinking, fuck. She's like, she's pretty happy lady. She's like, yeah, you know what? I'm like, what's keeping you going? I'm like, that's pretty fucking depressing. She goes, what else am I going to do? This happened yesterday. I did a story about it, but someone called me and I didn't end up putting it up.
Yeah.
She's like, well, Johnny, I'm happy to wake up every day. I'm living. Yes, my husband passed away. She goes, that's life.
Wow.
I got leukemia. It happens.
Wow.
I thought, fuck her mindset. I'm thinking, I'll get upset if I miss a meal.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? This lady's got maybe a year left in her life. So there's a time frame. So she's just thinking, I'm going to sell my house, live the rest of my days in Ballarat, have a bit of buffer money there. And I'm like, wow, perspective. And sometimes we need to hear more perspective because we're in this fucking Instagram, TikTok rat race. How cool can we be? How much money can we say we got? Like, in the day,
it's not what really matters.
Nah, man, it's a family. At the end of the day, the only people that were there in the psych ward for me, my fucking parents.
Yeah.
That's it. And I had one friend visit. No one else gave a fuck. Everyone wants to know me now.
I would have visited you, by the way.
You would have visited me, but man,
don't take me. I'm not ready.
I get emotional, but no one fucking cared, bro.
Wow.
When I was off the rails, only a couple people there, all these friends.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand, yeah, because you got to be a bit self-scarfed yourself. And
Yeah.
I got myself out of that shit. So, perspective. Think of that lady. Very nice lady. So that's how wise. Okay, keep going. To Jody and Scott, what's one thing you're keen to improve about yourself?
Everything, every damn thing. I'm, I enjoy the journey. I enjoy the process. I feel like I've really found my groove in what I do. I love what I do. I love helping people. I love coaching them. I love, watching people progress and whatnot and being the best they can be. But I want to be a better coach. I want to be a better dad. I want to be a better, trainer. I want to be like every aspect. I just, that's why I'm constantly listening to audiobooks or podcasts or still learning now. I don't feel like I know it all. Like I've been doing this game. I've been in the fitness game for 30 years. And by no means have I feel like I've even scratched the surface. I'm learning from guys even younger than me that are really tuned into certain aspects, whether it be pharmacology or biomechanics or whatever. And I'm glued. I'm not too proud to say I don't know it all, right? So I want to learn more. I want to be better. I want to, and even just watching your example of being kind to people and encouraging them. I want, I see things in other people, and I don't look at it as I'm jealous of that. They're I just go, wow, they're doing that really well. How can I maybe emulate that? And, for my own, knowing that I can go to sleep at night, knowing that I've gotten a little bit better, that 1% better in those, every little aspect I can.
And it's nice because you, when we started this, just getting you out there more, you were very nervous.
Yeah.
And even today, you're like, oh, I'm getting feeling good about this now.
Yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah,
you're I'm like, you're ready, bro.
This morning, I was like, how am I going to do this? I don't know, but
yeah,
just got to do it.
Now you're ready. You're set. It's only got to exponentially grow from here. We just fucking love this shit.
Yeah.
It's can't not, For me, improving, well, that's why I read so much, because I know there's so much. You can unlimitedly learn stuff. You can just constantly learn. Yeah. I keep learning every day. There's something new. The stuff I'm doing now in real estate, I haven't told you.
Yeah.
The stuff I'm doing now is these big land subdivisions, to fucking 200-acre lots, right? Of just some people I met. I didn't know about this shit.
Yeah, wow.
Now I'm learning about it. Now we're going to big leasing companies trying to find out, can we lease these to Woolworths, Bunnings warehouses in newer states, right? So I'm getting into this new this is some big shit, right? For me, I was used to resi, apartment sales, townhouses, dual locks, 8-unit sites. Now we're talking 12,000 lot sites.
Incredible.
with people. I fucking didn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
You've been in the game a long time.
15 years.
Yeah.
In next month is 15 years of real estate. We can always learn if you just keep doing a bit of repetition. I've learned so much about photography now.
Yeah.
So I like learning.
Yeah.
Keep stimulating the mind. You can do quite a bit, but I try and focus on the stuff I like. So it's Neverhome or training, and you keep getting better and better. I'm always getting better, not learning stuff from you, watching.
And
YouTube videos.
The other thing is, as a coach, a lot of my clients are coaches themselves, and I want them to be better as well. If I can help another coach be a better coach, I'm stoked.
Well, you're coaching Hart McGrath in the States, and Hart does his YouTube videos. I love Hart, man.
He's awesome. He's just got the best attitude, so positive.
Oh, he's the best, bro, Hart. I hope he uses this as a reel, but Hart, bro, he's a great guy, you know?
Absolutely.
And he's we never met him. He's in America. I sent him some Neverhome stuff. We talk here and there and we chat, but
awesome.
He's very positive. So I want to be around these positive people. So improving is just, man, every aspect. I'm trying to be the best agent I can be too, and I'm just learning every week. There's a couple more questions. We've got a bit of time left. How long has it been so far, Johnny? 3 minutes from now. Okay, we'll wrap it up soon. There's a couple more, but okay. Excuse me, Scotty. What does a typical day look like for you? Do you want to answer that one?
Maybe we'll skip that one.
Yeah, I think so. You kindly answered that before.
I'm pretty
coaching.
boring. I'm pretty boring. I just, I love what I do. I spend a lot of time just doing my check-ins and focusing on making sure my clients are seeing amazing results.
I'm eating, working, training, opening houses, and just calling clients and a couple face-to-face appointments. It's pretty boring. Okay, here's one. Would you be down to train with followers if they paid?
Well, look, I love my training with you. I take it very seriously, and but I probably wouldn't, because I don't do the face-to-face coaching anymore or train with people anymore outside of you. But I was thinking about the possibility of doing a workshop to where people could come along and
let us know if you're interested in this. If we did a workshop, let's turn this into a real. But should we talk about we've been speaking about this for a while. It'd be nice.
Just scratch the surface, but we could do a workshop where we go through certain body parts or whole body and just go through demonstrating the exercises, tempo.
That'd be very helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah, and let people have some hands-on feel of how they should be doing things and how to activate.
Will they get to touch your biceps? Is that an extra cost?
That's an extra cost.
Okay,
you can rub my feet though.
I get to that for free. Yeah. I enjoy that. Yeah. The workshop, but look, a lot of people ask me, "Oh, can I do a session with you?" Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to, because I just train with Scotty, and if I'm doing a session with someone else, I'm going to miss a session with Scott. It's going to be a session I'm not going to get really something out of. So I just pretty much train with Scott now. Occasionally, someone might come and train with us, maybe one of your clients, but not so much. Scotty, couple more questions. What's your favorite exercise for chest, and do you have a bench press?
I don't really bench press anymore. I found that the benefits wasn't worth the risk. It's getting some shoulder issues and whatnot. And plus, learning more about biomechanics and so on and so forth, I found that I'm more favored towards doing anything where you're looking at converging. So you're bringing your humerus along towards the midline of your body. So your bicep towards your sternum, and you get a nice contraction in your pec. And you can still work it from a lengthened position into a full shortened position. So you're working a better range of motion.
Yeah.
And contracting the pecs much better. Whereas if you're doing a press and you're pushing just straight out.
Yeah.
Tricep, anterior delt, a little bit of chest, obviously. But if you can bring it in and together, drop your elbows down a little bit, it's going to be a lot safer for your shoulder, as well as get a lot better contraction in your chest.
The best contraction I've ever felt was when you showed me that with the big cuffs.
The cuffs on the elbows.
And
it's cuffed press, so where you basically just bring it in.
So you're not holding it. There's no pressure on your fucking wrists.
Yeah.
It's just through here. You're still using the chest. But my God, I would do that. My chest would be so sore.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need to do that.
And then we're like, don't do too much. Your chest is growing too much.
Because I can really activate my chest.
Yeah.
Like I can make it ripple and see the ripple through my chest. Like, awesome. I don't know why I can do that. And I don't bench. I've bench press for years. I don't think you need to.
Yeah, unless you're a powerlifter, and a different story.
Powerlifting, yeah.
Okay, what else we got?
A couple more. 150 grams of protein daily enough for the average male bodybuilder?
I don't think so. I think we talked a little bit. Did we go over this before? But if you're looking at maybe minimum 2 grams of protein per kilo body weight, right? And essentially, I like to go a little bit more than that. If you don't have, people talk about dangers of protein, kidney, and things like that. If you don't have any kidney issues and it goes well with digestion, there's nothing wrong with going over if it sits well with you. You want to stay in that. It's always that balance between muscle protein breakdown and muscle protein synthesis. You want to take about how many meals you have over the course of the day, divide up your total protein over that.
Yeah.
And make sure you're staying in that, protein's also, out of all the macros, going to be, there's the highest thermic effect of protein than any other macro, so it takes more calories to actually
it's pretty satiating too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's say hypothetically, just quickly, I'm 90 kilos. I have a minimum 180 grams of protein minimum.
Yeah, but
I have 300 at the moment.
Yeah, so that's about 3 times.
Yeah.
By the way, probably not necessary, especially when you start pushing carbs up. Carbs are going to be muscle sparing, so you probably don't need that. But I wouldn't go 158. I mean, you could survive on that. You could probably hold on to muscle tissue, but as far as growing,
not optimal. What do you think of what do you think of holding phases either after a show or after an off season? Are they necessary?
Okay, holding phase, that might be another word for maintenance. So let's look at 2 different scenarios. Let's look at going from
Yeah, I think that means maintenance.
Yeah,
Is that
so
right?
let's go from the two different scenarios. Let's go from a deficit, where you're, let's say, getting ready for a show, and we're coming back into a growing season. And then we go from that deficit. I would like to push things up closer to...
Taking a photo.
Hey, I'd like to push things closer up to maintenance first, hold there a little bit, bring it up to maintenance, hold there a little bit, and because it takes a little while for your body to get acclimated to more food again. Because if you've been in a deficit for a long period of time, everything starts slowing down. So you get your thyroid function slows down a bit, your leptin levels decrease, your thermic effect of food is obviously less. You know, your NEAT goes down, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. All those things slow down. So bring it right up to maintenance initially might not be wise. I'd probably go up to just under, then creep up to maintenance. And that might be also a good time to bring PEDs down to more physiological amount. So at that point, we're getting rid of all stress on our body. So if we're in a high caloric surplus, that's going to be a stress. If we're in a big deficit, there's a stress on your body. So it's a great time to get rid of all stress, go through what they might call a health phase, where you're bringing any special supplements down to a physiological amount, and then from there slowly increase. So that would be what you'd consider potentially a holding phase. On the reverse, let's say you're going from a bulk or growing phase down to a deficit. And I like to start my preps plenty of time in advance, maybe 20 weeks plus.
It's about 5 months.
Yep. Yeah. So in that, we're not talking about going, from a growth phase, boom, straight into a deficit. We're talking about going from a growth phase down to about maintenance calories. Now, at that stage, maintenance calories might be a little bit higher than coming on the other end, because you've created a set point that's a little bit higher at that point. So you bring yourself down to what you might think is a maintenance phase. You're going to get rid of stress then too as well. You're going to get stress on all the inflammation potentially from pushing food up for so long. You're going to drop a little bit of weight. You're going to get a little bit leaner, recomp nicely, hold that for a little bit before you go into a deficit. And that might last a few weeks before we actually go into the dieting phase. And if you're losing body fat and getting leaner on what we think may be a maintenance phase after that push up, keep writing that out. You don't need to bring calories down because it's X amount of weeks out. And that's why there's no set plan for contest prep. I couldn't tell if I had to write a contest prep for somebody and say, here you go for the next 16, 20 weeks. Couldn't do it. It literally is how your body responds on a week-to-week basis is the determining factor on whether you bring food up or down or whatever it might be. We also might look at diet breaks or carb cycling or something in that mix too as well, depending on how your body's reacting. But there's not a set plan. So I guess to answer that long question, yes, there would be maintenance phases or holding phases on either end on the push-up or diet down.
Your judgment's so good too, because like when I do these photo shoots, like I'm gonna just do photo shoots forever now, like every 12, 18 months, because I just leave it in your hands, because I trust this guy. I go boom, I just do what he says. It's so fucking easy. All I gotta do is what he says. If I do what he says, I'm fucking pure and it looks sick. It's as easy as that. So remember that last shoot I did? I booked it in with Cham. I'm like, hey, I want to do this, recreate this photo.
Yeah.
I'm doing my check-ins. He goes, do this, eat this amount of carbs, eat this amount of protein. And then you're like, all right, 2 high carb days. I'm like, all right. He goes, you got to drop weight. I did. Like, you just fucking knew.
Yeah.
So that's just from all your experience, man. So that's why I'm so confident whatever I do moving forward. Like if I've got a date, because I'm so motivated, I'm just going to do what you say. Yeah. I know I'm going to look the best I can.
Yeah, it's good. I'm very thankful that you have confidence in me as a coach, and I hope that people out there have confidence in their coaches, because the amount of people that come to me and they say, my coach said this and this, and I'm like, please just listen to your coach.
Yeah, it happens a lot at our gym. They'll be like, how many guys come and go, hey, coach said this. You're like, no comment. You're so respectful. You don't ever...
I don't want to tell them their coach's advice, because too many cooks in the kitchen ruin their recipe. There's a lot of different ways to get... So I reckon follow the advice, right?
Stick to their plan.
Trust their plan. If it didn't work, you at least tried it their way.
Yeah.
You can still question your coach. Don't go to other coaches and question. Question your coach. Ask them, why are we doing this? Would it be better to do this? And get their take on it. They should be able to explain to you why they're doing everything they're doing. But get the confidence in them. And build that trust there, because you ask too many people, it's just going to fry your head.
Oh, I just have the, and you know, I think that's why when I'm sorry I'm taking so long, but I'm going to talk about this. I think that's why I know when anything I'm doing with you moving forward, I don't have any stress, right? Because when you're stressed, cortisol levels raise. You're not recovering. You're not sleeping. Like if you got the stress of the unknown, that's another stress.
Yeah.
I already do so much in my.
You know, if I had to compete again,
Yeah.
I would seek a coach. Because I would probably second guess myself.
You'd psych yourself out. Yeah.
100%.
So it's very. I feel very comfortable knowing that. And I'm scared of you. Hey, what's going on? Check in.
Yeah.
Do a little video. WhatsApp. You do the side by sides, the comparisons, and then I don't know how you fucking know what to look at. You're like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. I don't know how you know that. I don't know how.
It's based on what how your body's reacting and what what the signals are and when it's time to.
As long as you do what you say, it just works. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck you do that, bro. But it's pretty cool. All right, there's a couple more questions and we will wrap it up soon.
Guys, another quick break. Hope you're enjoying the episode. Whatever you're watching this on, whatever platform, if you get a chance, please give us a review and subscribe to all our channels. Let's get back to the episode.
I train push. Firstly, I love your content. I train push pull legs 5 times a week. Now that I want to grow, what would be ideal? Should I train 4 times a week?
It's going to depend on what you can recover from. If you're going into a growth phase, you're going to be eating more, so your recovery is going to be better. That may mean you can still train 5 days a week because you're going to be eating more. But if you're finding that you're not recovering, your strength isn't improving. So if you're in a growth phase and you're pushing food up, you should be increasing in strength or getting an extra rep or an extra couple kilos on most movements. And at the end of the day, you look at, as long as you're making progress. Now, sometimes on the other hand of that, I see guys training 6-7 days a week. They're smashing the body. They're not recovering. They're not making progress. I think, look, I'd probably say anywhere between 3 and 5 times a week. Training, splitting up your rest days would be optimal.
So let's say you're really time poor. Full on, you got the kids. Like you got kids. You get away getting a great physique with 3 workouts a week.
Definitely.
If on a good diet, like 3 hard workouts a week.
You could do 3 full body workouts.
Yeah.
And they could literally take
an hour?
Maybe a little
90
longer.
90 minutes, yeah.
90 minutes, 3 times a week. And this isn't for your average Joe Blow. This is somebody who has some serious physique goals. You could really see some serious results out of that. You really could.
I think I can make that work.
You could.
The intensity I'll put into those 3 workouts, I'd be like, fuck, I've only got 3 workouts. I got to do some fucking damage. I reckon I could get some really good results. Yeah.
Give your body a new stimulus.
Yeah. Because we're eating train legs every 5 days.
Yep.
You know, really, there's probably... My legs are probably only under that extreme pain.
And then think about it, if you did a full body session and training them every 3 days, you do less volume in each day.
Yeah. But think about it, right?
But you keep the intensity up. Or another option is if you did 4 days a week, you could even do upper, lower. That could be an option too.
But you know that extreme pain we're under, like when we're training legs, let's just say. If you calculate that for the workout, it's probably only like 5 minutes worth.
Yeah.
Of actual, like 5 minutes.
Between the time, because the first
the real hard part. Not even 5 minutes.
The first half of your set isn't that hard.
It's like, it might be 3 minutes.
It's an interesting way to look at it, isn't it?
It's like you got 3 minutes of pain, like fuck. That's probably what we're really doing when you think about it.
Yeah.
And that's what gets the
results. Because it's not the whole set that hurts. It's only the last few reps.
I never thought about it like that.
Interesting.
Think about that. It's maybe 3 minutes every 5 days that you really got to suffer to get those results. But no one gets there.
Yeah, they leave that on the table.
You've driven to the gym, taken the pre-work, you've done all the meal prep. The fuck, just push that extra couple reps. You know? That's a good reel. You think about that. I just cooked myself thinking about that. Interesting.
I like it.
What's your take on prolonged fasting?
Look, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not a huge fan of intermittent fasting. So you might fast for, 16 hours of the day and then eat all your meals in a couple, in a few hours, which could be hard on your digestive system because you're cramming it in. And it's not really that long of a fast to have some other benefits. But prolonged fasting, i.e., 24, 36 hours and whatnot, there's a lot of cool benefits, especially if somebody's having some digestive issues. You can give your digestive system a complete break.
Yeah.
So what you do is basically, if you get up in the morning,
Don't eat.
Just have water, have some electrolytes, and give your. So you have intestinal villi. That's those little hairs and whatnot in your intestines that absorb all your nutrients. You give them a complete break. They have a chance to recuperate, right? You give your pancreas a break because if you're not even protein, for example, will stimulate insulin. So you give your pancreas a break from producing insulin. So you give your you can actually improve your insulin sensitivity by doing that as well. And yeah, you can go if you basically go from that morning and you go to that night, that'd be 24 hours. Now, if you can go to bed that night without eating and wake up the next morning and eat, that instantly becomes 36 hours. The first probably 3-4 hours are probably the toughest where you get really hungry, but then after that you kind of get this second wind. You want to do it in a scenario where you don't have a lot of stress on, because that itself is a little bit of a stress on your body. So, if you've got a hard physical job, don't do it on that kind of day. Do it on a chilled out kind of day. I wouldn't train on that day either. So plenty of water. Give it a try, see what you think.
It must be something to fasting because, every religion, there's some form of fasting. Jesus fasted for 40 days.
It's also a mental game. It really is. You learn a lot about yourself.
I know my dad's a pastor of a church. He does fast sometimes.
Yeah.
He'll fast and he'll just read the Bible.
Yeah.
And there's something to it. So, yeah. I just love eating. Who did you guys look up to in bodybuilding when you were younger?
Well, with me, I guess, we got Arnold Schwarzenegger's bodybuilding encyclopedia. Learned a lot from that. And I think at the time when I first started training, Lee Haney was Mr. Olympia. But then I went to a seminar, Joe Weider's Muscle Camp, I think it was, and Dorian Yates. It was back in 1992. And he was hosting the seminar, or he was the guest at the seminar. And he, was going through his exercises, talked about his training philosophies,
Machine.
posing, I was just blown away, incredible. And
you saw him in person?
Yeah, this was all in person. And
didn't he win the 94?
Well, no, this was before.
When did he win?
I think it was the 92. He either placed the first Olympia, he placed second.
Yes.
And then the next one, somebody asked him who's going to win the next Olympia, and he said some blonde guy from England. And sure enough, later that year he won. So
fucking hell.
And I remember he signed an autograph thing, and I was like, wow, very intimidated.
And his genetics. I looked at him as younger. Would you say he had good genetics?
He had good genetics, yeah.
He had good genetics?
Yeah. But he meticulously calculated everything from his training to his meals. He logged every bit of training. He's got logbooks.
Did it all himself, though. No coaching, no nothing.
Yeah, he researched everything, yeah.
I respect that so much.
And when I changed my training style from the Arnold Schwarzenegger fucking massive amount of volume, doing every exercise known to man, spending 3 hours in the gym, training nearly every day.
But who had a better body?
To Dorian Yates' high intensity. When I trained my training style, that's all I changed. I probably made the best results of my life by just switching up and increasing my intensity massively and backing off the volume, recovering, and it just grew. It was the most growth I've ever had experienced.
Arnie had the best body of all time, though. Arnold.
What about Ronnie? Look, you can talk about bodies. You can talk about. We could have a whole. conversation.
That's a whole conversation.
Yeah.
But Arnie, he's just. His mind got him over the line too. So when I was a kid, I looked up to, drum roll. I was 16 in my 14, 15 in my parents' garage, and I had printed up on the black and white printer pictures of Ronnie Coleman. I was obsessed with Ronnie Coleman. I had all his DVDs. I used to burn the DVDs.
He was impressive.
And I give these DVDs out to my mates. And I didn't know about steroids or anything back then. I thought, fuck this guy. I was like, Ronnie. So I made that new shirt. I made a shirt because of how much that guy inspired me. That guy was just... And I met him in person. Such a fucking nice guy, bro.
I remember seeing him come out
So
to Australia
humble.
after he won. I can't remember which Olympia. And he just won like the previous month. He came out in this robe and his scepter and crown, and jaws were hitting the floor. It was just in person. It's a whole.
And he doesn't complain. He said something at an Olympia. He goes, I didn't win 90, whatever it was. I didn't win this year. I didn't complain. I didn't complain. And he goes, and he said something like, the point is, don't complain.
Yeah.
He's a cop as well. Like, fucking just the sickest cunt. So Ronnie Coleman for me, he's a goat next to Arnold. They're both the goats. Can't pick one. But I made the shirt on Ronnie, so I probably look up to Ronnie more. Okay, thoughts on melatonin, and we're nearly done. Let's two more questions.
Look, it can't. Like I look at melatonin as how it reacts in your body, right? Your pineal gland produces melatonin. It's produced at night after the sun goes down. This is why you shouldn't be looking at bright lights and blue screens and this, that, and that. That's why they say stay off the screens, because that inhibits melatonin production. We're not supposed to be looking at bright lights at night. We're supposed to be around the campfire or whatever. Not campfire, but the sun goes down. We start getting that melatonin production, and then in the morning we're supposed to be exposed to the sun, bright light. Melatonin production stops, and then we're on with our day. Now, if somebody's flying and things like that and needs to supplement melatonin to get back on that right circadian rhythm, great. I find, for me, a lot of people have a hard time staying asleep, and melatonin can do a pretty good job of getting to sleep, but staying asleep, sometimes wake up like 3 hours later.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of it as a sleep supplement, personally.
So you don't take it?
No.
I don't take any.
I take a lot of sleep stuff.
But
not
I take
melatonin.
zinc and magnesium every night.
Yeah.
With fish oil.
Magnesium threonate is probably the best form of magnesium for sleep, because it crosses the blood-brain barrier and interacts with the GABA receptor, which helps.
How's that knowledge? It's fucking amazing, isn't it?
We can go all day, but I know we have time limits.
Nearly done, Johnny. You can go home to your newborn. 30 more questions.
Last one, isn't it? Or what are we?
Oh, we got. So when's the last time you had McDonald's?
I think we're coming back from the airport. Kids were hungry. We had no food.
Yeah.
Went by McDonald's. We got a bunch of snack wraps.
Yeah.
The grilled chicken and a wrap with some lettuce. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
So if you have a time point, you can actually go to Mac's and eat something healthy. You get a bottle of water. But you go to Mac's, you have a fucking burger, right? But so you have a wrap, a couple grilled chicken breasts, and I remember years ago I just put in some lettuce, tomato. That was it.
Yeah.
That'll get you
special
through.
order. Yeah. And you
don't
get the chips.
Do it on the screen,
Do not get the chips.
Chips are the worst. Yeah. Well, vegetable oil.
Huge amounts of vegetable oil, and don't get me started.
Yeah.
And God knows what their nuggets are made of.
It's funny. I used to work at Macca's, and I bring like 20 burgers home, and I take them to school. We microwave them. We'd all eat them at school. Me and the boys. Like that's what I was living off, burgers. Fucking completely I knew. And the last question, we kind of answered it before, but someone said, "Why do you drive the Camry?" Because I just drive a Toyota Camry. This real estate agent doing these auctions. I can't afford a more expensive car. It's as simple as that.
Well, you invest your money in smarter places.
Well, yeah. So I could.
You could.
I could.
You could. You could drive a very nice car.
I could lease a nice car, and I want the kids to watch this too, because when I got into real estate, all the agents, we're encouraged to get nice cars, but what happens is the directors want you to get these cars, so you're fucking in debt, right? So you got to keep listing and selling, And I got caught into the trap of wanting to look good and, looking like I was successful. So I had I've had a lot of European cars, always had Beamers or Lexuses. But I ended up losing my license for speeding twice. I sold the cars, and I don't own a car. I don't have a car. That is my dad's spare Camry that he lets me use. And I'm like, well, this is great. So sometimes what happens is if you rock up to a client's house in a fucking $200,000 car, some clients don't like that. They think,
this guy's ripping me off.
Yeah, they might get jealous or think they don't know how hard you worked for it too.
Yeah.
Because cars. I love cars. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. The
second I'm capable of getting a fucking good car within my means, I'll have all of them.
Yeah.
Trust, I will. But right now, I'm not at that level yet.
Yeah.
Because I'm investing my money into my dream, which is this. If I'm going to lease these cars right now, how the fuck am I? The money's going into that. I don't make as much, I'm not making fucking $60,000 a month, whatever it is. I got to put the money back into this, and I don't want to accumulate too much debt right now because I'm using my own funds for this business. So if you're a kid and you're like thinking about, in your early 20s and you want to go and lease these cars, I made a mistake when I got my M3. I paid $90,000 for it. It's about 25, and I had a PA at the time, and they live in Toorak, very successful family. His dad came and said, "Don't buy this car. Put it into property." I'm like, "Nah." I was like, "Nah. The car's going to make me more money. It's going to make me look. I just wanted the M3, so I got the M3. Anyway, I was paying $1,800 a month on the car. And then there's a petrol insurance. It cost me $2,000 a month, $500 a week on this car. It's a lot of money. What the fuck was I doing?
I ended up selling the car for less than what I paid for it. All those repayments, I was pretty much borrowing the car. Yes, there was a tax write-off for work. But if I went back now, I wouldn't change anything because I've learnt so much. But if you're watching this and you're going, I want to get in my car to impress some chicks, you're impressing the wrong chicks anyway. The chicks that should want, you should be like, fuck, this guy's smart. He's investing in his future. So look at me as an example. I'm very successful at what I do in real estate. I'm one of the best auctioneers ever. I drive a $2,000-$3,000 car, and I'm proud of it. I clean it. I cleaned it at 5 o'clock this morning. You look at my stories. I cleaned my fucking car this morning because I'm proud of this thing. There's no shame. So right here, if you can zoom in. Here, that's me. Can you see that? Can you zoom in on that? Oh, watch the thing. It's clean.
Yeah.
I respect it. So I'm not at a level to get the nice cars yet. So you gotta sacrifice that. So if you're thinking about it, maybe put it on hold, or you can do what I did, fuck up, make the mistake, and learn later and enjoy the car now. But I want to get the cars. I'm telling you now, in 10, 20 years, I'm gonna have all these cars. Maybe, but I'll probably be over it by then. We're done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks to John. Congratulations, a new kid. Kyle bought a new house. Congrats on that. Olivia's pregnant, right? Having a kid soon too. All the best with that. Congratulations. Scott, thank you so much for your time and generosity.